Brain-boggling and truly bizarre, the world's most baffling houses would perplex even the likes of Sherlock Holmes and Miss Marple. From labyrinthine abodes that make absolutely no sense to stately homes shrouded in secrets and spine-chilling stories of supernatural activity, these intriguing dwellings will delight anyone who loves to sink their teeth into a good mystery. Up first, we go to the world's most complicated home. This fascinating property on the Isle of Man is full of twists and turns. Meticulously designed in the Palladian style in red sandstone with a dome copper roof and a 17th century bronze cannon standing guard on the drive, Aragon Moor Estate on the Isle of Man is, according to its owner, Dr. John Taylor, the most complicated house ever built. The celebrated inventor, who gave us the kettle switch that turns off electric kettles when the water's boiling, wanted to design a building that was unlike anything anyone had ever seen before. Completed in 2014, the 23,000 square foot building is an architectural masterpiece with its revolutionary elliptical shape and cantilevered stone staircase that have impressed even the most advanced engineers. Considered one of the finest country estates on the Isle of Man, it features this stunning galleried atrium with its three-dimensional effect marble floor and a network of secret passages. A leading authority on early English clocks and a self-confessed puzzle fan, Dr. John C. Taylor, OBE, says, "I never like to do what other people have done before." The property features everything you could ever hope for in a homestead, including this amazing lift, your own library, and a beautiful orangery created in memory of Dr. Taylor's prize-winning gardener grandfather. But Taylor says it's time to move on, as now it's just him and his miniature schnauzer in full-time residence at the house. "We rather rattle around a bit," he told Metro. The inventor, who has over 400 patents to his name, is selling the estate as a whole or in 2 lots with Savills for £30 million. Up next, we go to the Winchester Mansion. Packed with puzzling architectural oddities and boasting a backstory that's as curious as they come, the Winchester Mystery House in San Jose, California is hands down one of the world's weirdest homes. Built over a 36-year period for Sarah Winchester, the troubled heiress to the eponymous gun fortune, the home was transformed from a simple 2-story farmhouse into a sprawling 24,000 square foot mansion comprising an incredible 160 rooms. Legend has it the construction of the vast house, which was completed in 1922, was guided by the spirit of her dead husband, who Mrs. Winchester is said to have consulted during seances in the witch's cap turret room. The eccentric widow was, as the story goes, haunted by the ghosts of people killed by the model 1873 rifle and the mansion's many oddball features. Think faux staircases, a door to nowhere, and myriad secret passages were purportedly designed to confuse these vengeful phantoms. As well as believing in ghosts, Mrs. Winchester was obsessed with the number 13. The house has 13 bathrooms, staircases with 13 steps, chandeliers with 13 arms, and so on, adding immeasurably to its eeriness. The Queen Anne-style mansion, which was so named by escape artist Harry Houdini, was opened to the public in 1923. The peculiar property has since attracted 12 million visitors and even inspired a Hollywood movie, but many of its mysteries remain unsolved to this day. The number 13 is avoided like the plague by many architects, with countless buildings around the world omitting a 13th floor. Up next, we go to this strange Japanese penthouse. Not so in this labyrinthine residence in Osaka, Japan, which proudly features 13 levels. Designed by Tado architects Yo Shimada, who, like Mrs. Winchester, clearly has no problem at all with the number, the abode is bland and unassuming from the outside. Inside, it's a different story entirely. House in Miyamoto is an intriguing puzzle house that breaks every architectural rule in the book, taking open-concept living to its extreme and rocking a disorientating vibe, reminiscent of the famous, mind-bending, gravity-defying Relatively print by Dutch artist M.C. Escher. The clients, a family of 3, wanted a space that would allow them to feel close to one another, so the architect eschewed internal walls and private areas. While starkly minimalist on first inspection, the property is actually the antithesis of Marie Kondo-esque pared backness. The clients requested that the building have 0 built-in storage, as they didn't want to hide away their possessions, and as the family have accumulated furniture, artwork, and knickknacks. Over time, the interior has developed into a richly maximalist personal space. The end result is a distinctly quirky home quite unlike any other on the planet. Up next, we go to the Folly house in North Carolina. labeled the strangest home in the world, Kerners' Folly in Kernerville, North Carolina, gives the Winchester Mystery House a run for its money in the weirdness stakes. The oddball house was built in 1880 by artist and designer Jewel Gilmer Kerner, aka the Man of 1,000 Peculiarities. A riotous mishmash of styles, the exceedingly eclectic house has 22 rooms in total spread across 3 stories and 7 levels. Each room is unique with ceiling heights ranging from a claustrophobic 5.5 feet to an imposing 25 feet, and no 2 doorways or windows are alike. Ditto the property's 6 chimneys and 15 fireplaces, which all differ considerably in style. Visitors may wonder why the home embraces so many diverse styles, and the answer lies in Kerners' profession. The property was actually conceived as a sort of showcase for his interior decorating firm. A home interiors catalog brought to life, the house has been open to the public from the get-go and features America's oldest private theater, which is situated on the 3rd floor. Other oddities include a mini version of the house, which functioned as an outdoor toilet. After falling into disrepair during the Second World War, the idiosyncratic property narrowly dodged demolition before it was saved during the 1990s, and nowadays is one of the premier tourist attractions in the area. Up next, we go to the Amityville Horror House. The creepy Dutch colonial house that inspired the Amityville horror book and series of movies still stands in the town of the same name, which is located around 30 miles outside New York City. The home was the setting of a grisly mass murder on the 13th of November 1974, when Ronald DeFeo Jr. shot and killed 6 members of his family. Talk about spooky. Just over a year after the murders, the house was snapped up at a knockdown price by the Lutz family. They lasted just 28 days in the home. Besieged by supernatural forces, the family were traumatized by a litany of paranormal activity, from foul odors and green slime oozing out of the walls to terrifying apparitions and voices shouting, "Get out!" George Lutz even observed his wife and sons levitating over their beds while asleep. Though doubt has been cast on the family's experiences, Mr. and Mrs. Lutz did in fact pass lie detector tests. Be that as it may, 5 families have lived in the property since the alleged haunting, none of whom have reported any paranormal activity, though the Lutzes did call upon a priest to conduct an exorcism which may have rid the property of its supernatural forces. Up next we go to Monte Christo. Australia's most mysterious house, Monte Christo in Junee, New South Wales, is also the country's most haunted, or so they say. A hotbed of paranormal activity, the property was built in 1885 by local pioneer Christopher William Crawley and belonged to the Crawley family until 1948. The house was vacant for 15 years before it was purchased by Reg and Olive Ryan, who restored it to its former glory. The Ryans have reported everything from ghostly hands touching their shoulders and lights randomly switching on to hearing the sound of phantom footsteps, while visitors have reported similar phenomena. According to the owners, a total of 10 spirits are thought to haunt the house. The paranormal activity comes as no surprise given the homestead's macabre history, which is marked by a number of disturbing incidents. Sometime during the late 19th century, a maid who was said to be pregnant with Mr. Crawley's baby threw herself off the second-floor balcony. Subsequently, a young child was pushed down the stairs by a malevolent force, and a stable boy was burnt alive in a horrific arson attack. Adding to the mansion's harrowing history, the then caretaker was reportedly shot dead on the property in the early 1960s. Whether the property is cursed or simply unlucky is of course open to question. Up next, we go to the Witch House. Standing out dramatically among the slick mansions of LA's Beverly Hills, this whimsical storybook home, which looks like it was transplanted from the pages of a fairy tale by the Brothers Grimm, has prompted many a passing motorist or pedestrian to do a double take and no doubt wonder exactly how it got there. The Witch's House, aka the Spadina House, is the handiwork of acclaimed Hollywood art director Harry Oliver. The fantastical home was built in 1920 at the Willett Film Studios in Culver City and originally served as offices, dressing rooms, and a set for silent movies including an early Hansel and Ampie Gretel picture. Threatened with demolition, the charming cottage was acquired by producer Ward Lassell and moved to Beverly Hills sometime during the mid-1920s. Lassell and his wife Lillian divorced not long after, and Lillian, who managed to keep the house, married her former servant Lou Spadina, hence the alternative name. The cottage was sold to the Green family in 1965, but by the time it came on the market again in 1998, the property was in a sorry state and was threatened with demolition yet again. Thankfully, the house was saved from the wrecking ball by local estate agent Michael Lebo, who oversaw a meticulous renovation of the property. Up next, we go to Belluardo. Mysteriously frozen in time for decades, the beguiling Belluardo Mansion in Santa Barbara, California, has lain empty since the 1960s, but unlike other grand forlorn houses around the world, has been pristinely maintained over the years at a cost of up to $40,000 per month. In 2022, the estate gradually opened for tours. The property is one of several that was owned by the late heiress Huguette Clark. The daughter of multimillionaire copper baron and Montana Senator William Clark, the pampered scion was born in Paris in 1906 and grew up in New York's grandest house. In 1923, the Clark family acquired Belluardo, which served as their summer residence. Not long after Huguette Clark married a law student, but the union didn't last, and the couple divorced in 1930. Clark's mental health began to deteriorate following the breakup, and extreme paranoia set in. Clark retreated to her New York apartment in the 1950s and lived the last 20 years of her life in a hospital room until her death in 2011. Having inherited Belluardo in 1963, she instructed staff to keep everything in tip-top condition and under no circumstances make any changes. The house was bequeathed to a charitable foundation, but probate and tax disputes left the estate in limbo until last year. Still, the house remains empty, though plans are afoot to open the property to the public. Alright everyone, I think that's going to wrap this video up. Like I mentioned in the beginning, follow all my social media, and also 50% of the people who watch me don't subscribe. So just, if you're watching, just click the subscribe button. It's free, it means a lot. And then an alternative option would be to become a member, which costs a couple dollars, but then, you know, I'll be calling you guys, FaceTiming you guys. You get cool badges, you get exclusive videos. I'll be making videos that I can't show, like public channel. So you guys get a ton of cool features and by clicking here and becoming a member. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I love you guys. Thank you for the constant support. Feel free to share this video on anything, and I'll see you in the next video. Later.